This story is connected to a thing called Kingo, which people talked about back in my hometown. To this day, I never found out how those characters are actually supposed to be read. But among ourselves, we kids called it Pandora. The town where I was born and raised was a quiet, peaceful backwater. It was a dilapidated place with nowhere to go for fun. But there was one thing that invariably captured everyone's attention. On the outskirts of town, by a road stretching along endless rice fields, stood a lonely, abandoned house. It was clear no one had lived there for a very long time. It was so weathered that it looked ancient, even against the backdrop of our old town. If it were just a matter of decay, it would have been just a dilapidated old house. But there were two reasons why it stood out. First, the irrational reaction of adults. As soon as we children started talking about that house, our parents would sternly cut us off, and sometimes they'd even slap us in a fit of rage. This happened in every single family. Second, for some reason, the house didn't have a front door. There were windows and glass sliding doors, but an entrance as such did not exist. If someone lived there before, how did they get in and out? Through the window? These mysteries fueled our curiosity, and the nickname Pandora made it the main topic of discussion among the kids. At that point, we knew nothing about Kingo. Most of us, myself included, were dying to scout out what was inside, but remembering how angry our parents got, we didn't dare act for a long time. A few months after I started middle school, a guy became interested in Pandora and declared he absolutely had to see it. Let's call him Ewy. His mother was from our town, but she had married and moved to another prefecture. After a divorce, she returned to her parents' home to live with Ewy's grandmother. Ewy was in town for the first time and knew nothing about the house's ominous reputation. Our group included me, Benny, Satoshi, and a girl named June. Since Benny and Satoshi were friends with Ewy, he naturally joined us. One day, while the five of us were chatting, we habitually mentioned Pandora, and Ewy immediately caught on to the word. My mom and grandma were born here too, he said. I wonder if they'll get mad if I ask them about it. Mad? That's not the word for it. My parents literally hit me for that, someone replied. While we explained the situation, everyone started complaining about their parents. Then the conversation turned to the main mystery. What is inside? So no one knows? Ewy asked. No one. No one has gone inside, and if you ask, you get in trouble. Probably only the adults know. Then let's find out for ourselves what they're hiding from us, Ewy proposed with excitement. We hesitated at first, but Ewy's spirit and our long-suppressed curiosity won. We agreed. Later it turned out that June's younger sister, who always tagged along, wanted to go too. So on Sunday afternoon, the six of us set out on our mission. I remember gathering in front of the house, full of anticipation. For some reason, everyone had backpacks filled with chips and sweets. It felt like a picnic. As I said, the house stood alone among the fields and had no entrance. It was 2 stories tall, but the second-floor windows were out of reach, so the only way in was to break a glass pane on the first floor. It's just glass. We'll pay for it if we have to, Ewy said, and he smashed the sliding door glass with a swing. He climbed in first, and we all followed. We were in the living room. To the left was the kitchen. Straight down the hall was the bathroom, and the toilet at the end. To the right was the stairs, and a space that should have been the hallway. Despite the exterior, the inside was cleaner than expected. Or rather, there was just nothing there. No furniture, no traces of people. It's empty. Just a normal house, the boys muttered, getting bored and snacking on chips. Then the secret must be on the second floor, June said. She and I, holding her little sister by the hand, went into the hallway to go up. But as soon as we entered the hallway, our hearts nearly stopped. In the middle of the corridor leading to the bathroom, there was a dressing table, vanity, and directly in front of it, a stand was installed. And on that stand hung hair. It's hard to describe. It didn't look like a wig. It looked like long female hair that had kept its hairstyle and was just hanging there. The height of the stand was adjusted so the hair was at the head level of an average person. It looked as if an invisible woman was sitting in front of the mirror. Chills ran down my spine. The boys ran out and froze in disbelief. Only Jun's little sister, Kaori, stood there blinking. "What is that?" "Is that real hair?" Aoi asked. "Don't touch it. It's a bad sign. Let's get out of here," we screamed. The sight filled us with an inexplicable horror. We backed into the living room. What now? To get to the second floor, we have to pass it in the hallway. "I'm not going. I'm scared," I said. But Aoi and Benny insisted. "Just don't look at it. If anything happens, the exit is right under the stairs. Plus it's daytime." While we were debating, I noticed something. "Hey Jun, where is your sister Kaori?" Everyone froze. The girl was gone. We were standing in front of the only exit, so she couldn't have gone outside. "Kaori, where are you?" Jun shouted, but there was only silence. "Listen, could she have gone upstairs?" We raced up the stairs. On the second floor, there were 2 rooms. We opened the first one. It was empty. We approached the second door and slowly opened it. Jun's sister was there, but we couldn't speak, pinned to the spot. In the middle of the room stood another vanity, exactly like the one downstairs. The same stand, the same long hair. "Big sis, what's this?" the girl asked. And then she did the unthinkable. She walked to the vanity and opened the top of the 3 drawers. "What's this?" She pulled out a piece of rice paper with the word Kingo written in brushstrokes. We stared, unable to process it. The girl then opened the second drawer. Another paper with Kingo. Finally, Jun snapped out of it and rushed to her sister in a panic. "What are you doing?" she screamed, grabbed the paper and tried to shove it back. But the girl had already closed the second drawer. In her hysteria, Jun opened the 3rd bottom drawer. A crash sounded as the drawer slid out. Jun froze, staring inside. She didn't move. She didn't make a sound. Then, she slammed the drawer shut. She took her own hair, which was just below her shoulders, put it in her mouth, and began to hungrily suck and chew on it. "Jun? Pull yourself together." She didn't react. She just kept frantically slobbering on her hair. We grabbed her sister, and fled the house. We ran to my house, and my mother came out. Before I could say a word, she slapped us across the faces. "Were you there? Did you go to that house?" She took Jun upstairs and called all the parents. When they gathered, she said, "These children went to that house." The parents were in shock. "What did you see?" When we mentioned the 3rd drawer, a chilling scream erupted from the 2nd floor. Jun's mother was hysterical. "Did Jun look in the drawer? The 3rd drawer?" When we confirmed it, she lunged at us. "Why didn't you stop her? You are friends." Later, Benny's father told us the secret. The house was built specifically for that vanity and that hair. The word we saw, Kingo, was the name of the woman the hair belonged to. It is impossible to read correctly unless you know the secret. "Forget about Jun," he said sadly. "She will never be the same. You will never see her again." So what kind of ritual was it? Years later, I learned what this was. It was a lineage where 3 rituals were passed from mother to daughter. In this clan, a daughter was property, a material. One daughter would be chosen and given a secret name. The upbringing of the chosen girl was horrific, cutting the faces of cats and dogs into pieces, keeping animal torsos alive without tails to gaslight the child, using cat whiskers to kill rats, dismantling spiders and reassembling them, eating excrement. The 3 rituals. At 10 years old, the daughter had to sacrifice her nails. She tore off her own fingernails and toenails, and the mother put them in the top drawer drawer with the secret name. At 13 years old, the daughter pulled out her own teeth. They went into the second drawer. At 16 years old, the final ritual. The mother cut off almost all the daughter's hair and ate it. She had to physically consume it. Only then would the mother speak the secret name for the first and last time. After this, the mother became a living corpse, just sucking on her own hair until death, while her soul went to another place. The daughter would then grow up to repeat the cycle. Why was that house cursed? The curse began when a woman named Yachio tried to raise her daughter Takako normally. But the father found out about the rituals and tried to do them himself. He ripped out the girl's nails and teeth, and she died. Yachio then committed suicide next to her daughter. The father was later found dead at the doorstep with a mouth full of hair. In the house we entered, the first drawer had nails. The second drawer had teeth. The third drawer, the one Jun opened, contained severed hands. In Yachio's vanity, it was her right hand and Takako's left. In Takako's, it was the opposite, their fingers intertwined. Jun saw those intertwined dead hands, along with the instructions on how to read the secret name inscribed inside the drawer. That knowledge drives one insane instantly, triggering the ancient mechanism of devouring hair.